Morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in any part of the world. This is Every Woman Dream Show. And as always, I bring you inspiring stories of women from across the globe. Today, I have a beautiful young lady, Salma Mohammed. She's a trained clinical psychologist. She currently works with the school psychologist as at ICRA Educational Center. She has a passion and she volunteers to support the cause of women and children in marginalized communities. She is a Human Rights Fellow of McGill Edinburgh University in Montreal between 2010 and 2014. She loves learning new technologies and she uses her influence and social media for campaigns on funding to raise support to for empowering young women across Ghana. My guest today is Selma Mohammed. Hello and welcome, Selma.
Nice. Thank you. Salam alaikum and thank
Wa
you.
Salam rahmatullah. Thank you for joining me today. I know you have a busy schedule, but thank you for making time to join me today. I am particularly interested in knowing how did this whole growing up, what was the defining moment that shaped your passion in volunteering?
Thank you for that question. Well, I had a relatively stable childhood and I grew up on campus and from a very disciplined and strict parent. So I was in a way I had my life cut out for me, and initially I wanted to be a teacher. And
Okay.
then all my friends wanted to be doctors, so I also
I
joined
see.
the group. Yes, but I think the defining moment for me was like when we got to travel to the communities. It was an
Okay.
excursion. I think it was a club that goes to those kind of community, and to escape. I just wanted to go somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, but when we got there and we started interacting with the locals, the club is head of state award scheme. I'm actually an
Okay.
assessor there, but when we got there, wow, the people were just there waiting. They were hanging on our every word, and you could see
Mm,
what we're doing made a difference. Was
okay.
making a difference. Like just interacting with them. The aim of the award was award scheme was to challenge yourself and be you where the
All
sort
right.
of like 4 models, and when you qualify you're awarded either bronze, silver or gold. My aim was just to have a chance to just go out and do
To the
something.
community. Mm.
Yes, yes.
So
And but when I
what
got
age was that? What age was that before you continue?
I think that was SS. That was
Okay,
a
senior
defining
high.
moment. Although
Okay.
senior high school,
All
although
right.
I started volunteering in class 3. I was girl guide. Uh,
Mm, I see.
I just loved
Okay.
volunteering. I think it was just a part of me.
Wow.
But that was
That's
really the
that's
defining
quite
moment.
oh no. Okay. Okay.
That was really going to the communities and knowing that what you are like, what you are saying made a difference. Like, and at that time I didn't even realize the impact, but we ended up at one community at a point, and
Okay.
everybody came out to meet us, the chiefs. You send word ahead of time that you are coming to do this with them. And
Okay.
most of the time we select a topic based on the current social issue.
Okay.
Yes, and it was really an eye open, like an eye opener. You're in the city, you think that's the normal way of life for everybody in the
Right.
country, but you get there and you realize that you are actually very, very privileged just by
Okay.
the fact that you happen to be in a certain neighborhood or just in the city of Accra, some part of Accra. So that really was the defining moment. That was what really made me realize that this is something
For
I would
you.
want.
Okay.
Yes,
Can
for
you
me,
can
yeah.
you recall a few of the situations that you were exposed to at that point?
I think the first thing, the one of the situations I realized was that, you go, when you go, you send a letter to like the district assembly or something, that informing them you'll be here, but you actually go into the communities. It's hiking. You hike a number of kilometers, and
Okay.
one of the things is that whichever community you visit, you have to go and first knock, like introduce yourself to the chiefs.
Okay.
And one thing that stood out was that the chiefs were so welcoming, and they wanted to house us in their
Mm,
compound. But
okay.
honestly, when you think of a chief's compound, you are thinking some comfortable place. But most of the time, we just had to effectively decline and just opt for the classrooms,
So that
because
gave you
sometimes just
a feel of the condition
yes,
of the people in communities.
this is the chief, at least his compound should be. Some of the chiefs were, alhamdulillah, were well off, but
Okay.
mostly it was, yeah, you rather prefer camping out in the open
Yeah,
if
of
you have a
course. It
camp.
must be nothing compared to the kind of environment that you were used to.
Yes.
So
So
that gave
and
you an
and
opportunity to see the
yeah,
life from another perspective.
yes. That
Okay.
yes, and also the second thing was the way they received us.
All
The
right.
moment you announce that this is what your course, you're coming to educate them, everybody comes out to hear what you have to say.
Mm,
And that was when it hit me
interesting.
that what it's really important that we really look at those kind of communities, and
Okay.
even the kind of people we send them, because they listen to what you have to say, like they believe it, all of it.
Okay.
So I think were the two things that really stuck out for me. Like
Okay.
even the life of the children is easy, not to talk of the ordinary uh,
People.
inhabitants. And also, yes, and not to, and also the fact that they really want to learn, they really want to change their lives. They are just not exposed to the kind of, or presented with the kind of opportunities some of us have here
Okay.
in the cities or at other urban centers, sort of. Yeah.
Okay. What are some of these communities? Could you mention some of these communities?
Yeah. Hello.
Yes. What are some of these communities? The names
We,
of some of
we,
the communities that you have been with?
at, in the, it was a long time ago, almost 2 decades, but I really remember
Okay.
Dawakolua. That was in
Okay.
the eastern region. I
All
remember
right.
the community around people. So
Okay.
that was, I think, in the Ashanti region. That was when we went for our gold expeditions, and we
Okay.
really visited a lot of the eastern region and some of the coastal towns. Sometimes we had to sleep by the river, like
Okay.
where you can actually see a river and all that.
Oh.
And that to me was exciting, but it,
But at the same
yeah, but it
time,
was,
opportunity
yeah,
to
but
yeah
it
to also support the growth of other people.
yes, yes, and also actually see what was really happening. It
Okay.
kind of opened my worldview that
Okay.
everything wasn't just Accra, and that
Okay.
there was a different
Right.
kind of life somewhere, like elsewhere in the community, and those people
Mm-hmm.
really need any, like they need support and
Okay.
be exposed, and also open to some of the opportunities, like just going to school that most people sometimes in the cities take for granted.
Okay. All right. Now, let's come back to one of your outstanding projects within the community. For over decades now, Ghana as a country has been going through a lot of difficulties in managing rural urban migration. Specifically, we want to talk about the Kayaye. For our listeners who do not understand what the term Kayaye means, I would give you an opportunity to explain. But I know that you've done a lot of projects in that line. How did it all start, and how has been the impact of trying to support the government and the international communities, as well as philanthropists who have been working in order to reduce, or best said, stop rural urban migration, most especially girls?
Thank you for that question. I got introduced to the KIAs when I was actually a project coordinator for working for one of the international organizations based
Okay.
in Ghana. That's Mary Stopes International, and what we were doing was the SIFPO project, and basically what it meant was that's trying to get them educated about their sexual reproductive health and rights.
Okay.
And that was when my main community was women and children in marginalized communities, and
Communities. Yes.
yes, and in urban city centers, that is the
Okay.
markets and sometimes the outskirts towns.
Down.
And that was
Okay.
when I got introduced to them, and it was amazing. You always see them in the market. Previously, of course, you see them and you know what they do. The kai, there's a term that's used for women who carry loads, who help customers in the markets carry their loads to and to the other, and they charge a little fee, a minimal fee for that service.
Okay.
And earlier that existed, but when I really had to work in their community and work with them and really live there, not be exposed to the kind of lifestyle from morning to evening that they were living. That was really when I understood what it was about. I
Right.
remember one day I was like, okay, just to better understand them, I wanted to walk in their shoes, try and walk in their
Mm.
shoes. So I got
Okay.
there very, very early, and very early, like 6:37, and I started walking through the markets with them, like going through the day with
Okay.
them. And honestly,
Mm.
by 12, I was like, okay, I
You
had
are
to go here.
just
Yes, and I
yeah.
realized that observing them from you can't really understand the
Right.
level of changes they go through
Mm.
from waking up to the time where even they sleep is a challenge, because most
Right.
of them sleep out in the open. In some of the
Yes, in the open,
urban
on the
markets
street.
like Accra, Selma Station, yes, on the street with
Right.
their in the community. Some of very small, poorly ventilated structure, like 15 sometimes, and they pay for that very and that's the fact. And
Okay.
really exposed to their kind of. Ever since then, that was 2012, no,
Right.
2013. Ever since that time, I just couldn't walk away. I
Yeah.
had to go back there even after I had officially completed my work with them. Well,
Okay.
after then, the project was very successful
Mm.
because most of them lack basic knowledge about sanitation, about the sexual reproductive health,
Help.
about their own rights as
Mm.
women and as just human beings. So it was really a very successful, empowering program, because we
Okay.
had a lot of partnership. We were partnering with DOFSU,
Okay.
also out unit, to provide like
Okay.
legal services and referrals to them. And of
Okay.
course, my son is a whole international organization specialized in sexual reproductive health and rights.
Right.
So it was
Right.
really a very profitable partnership. We ended up
Okay.
educating them about gender-based violence and how to even protect themselves. We got the men involved,
Okay.
and but as with every funded project, it had to come to an end.
Right.
But still, we even have links with some of the officials who actually come to our aid just because they also believed in the cause, and they really help us out from time to time. And I really like to take this opportunity to thank some of the officials for that.
Yes. Okay. So can you walk us through some of the most significant success stories in this project with the KIA or headquarters, as we know? What were some of the
The one
impacts?
Well, the impact was we had a lot of women being educated about just the basic things that about how their body works,
Mm.
with their rights as individuals, and even how to even live a more healthy and uh, productive life, and also how to protect themselves, because
Okay.
our main focus was on sexual and reproductive health.
All
So we
right.
had a lot of people, and also we had a lot of people coming in the office, and it was free. The services were free, so we were
Okay.
able
Good.
to yeah, the services were free, so they could walk in at any time. And we had community debates or community meetups. We had focus group
Okay.
discussions with them, and there they had really some interesting questions to ask about
To ask.
yes, it was really interesting. Sometimes because you are part of the field, like you are part of the group, you sometimes take for granted the knowledge that you have about certain issues. But when you come down to the community, people are asking about pregnancy, about prenatal care, about what options are there for them. It's really
Okay.
it's really interesting. And also the gender-based violence, anti-gender-based violence program, the peer educators were trained, and we had anti-gender-based violence champions up to now, and we were able to link, because of our partnership with DOVSU, we're able to
Okay.
link them with the police stations, or officers at the police stations, to be correct. So if
Okay.
there's
Okay.
anything happening in the community that
Any
was
violation of rights,
any
they
violation
could.
of right, yes, they served as sort of whistleblowers. But
All
the
right.
training was intensive, so we showed them what they have to do, so that at the end of the day, to trouble, all they are supposed to do is just call, stand somewhere and observe. And it was so successful that even they went back to the north and continued on that job.
Okay,
We had one.
let me hold you on that. Let me hold you on that, actually. One of the main worries for all the stakeholders who have been involved in this activity in order to send back or support these headquarters who are migrating from their home place to the urban centers in order to
Mhm.
seek, yeah, in order to seek economic gains. In as part of your project,
Yeah.
was there a point where you had some of them really wanting to go back? Because I know quite a number of them are, majority of them are actually women, young girls
Mhm.
as young as 9 years sometimes. Were
Yeah.
there a moment where you were successfully able to send back some of them either back to school or back to their parents? And how did that work out for you?
Okay, the one we have been able to do some various projects over the time I've been with them. That's over like since 2013, 14, and it's not, and that's by different partnerships and different groups.
All
But
right.
yes, if you look at the root cause of the problem, migration, it's usually one person somewhere thinking or believing, whether true or not, that there are better opportunities elsewhere. And if you
Also,
look at the yes, elsewhere, so that's what really drives my migration. Whether
okay.
and in the case of the KIAs, the root cause of it, honestly, I stand to be corrected, but from what I've experienced and observed, of course, is poverty and lack of
Okay. Right.
opportunities in uh, their
And where
communities of origin.
right.
Yes, yes, lack of opportunities, just work, any kind of opportunity, educational work, economic, and all that.
Right.
And if you look at the pattern over the years, the situation is not getting any better.
Right.
It's actually more of them are coming to the south, sorry, instead of the numbers actually being less, because
Mm.
situations are not really getting much better. And if you look at it, there are different types of kaye, but most of them, especially the current crop, they really want to go back. They really want an alternative, and if we
Okay.
provide them with that alternative, um, I'm, most of them will want to go back. One
Okay.
project we did successfully with one of our partner organizations. Like I said, I'm with the Kai Youth Association currently. I volunteer for them as
Okay.
with the SWAP project, and we train them in beast making. And out of 250, 200 went back, and even some of them keep calling us,
Awesome.
send that, yes, send us
That is a
money
that is a
for.
big success.
Yeah, that is a great. That's the great, because all they need is alternative source of
Source of
livelihood.
income. Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah, source of income, because
Okay.
something drives them to the south.
That's it.
Almost, and if you really get to interact with them, you know that they are very focused.
Okay.
They come with a goal. I am coming to earn or raise this amount of money to go back to either pay for my school fees, to either buy materials to get married, or to either solve a family problem.
Mm.
You get it? They are very focused, and they would live in those conditions, live very leanly, so that they can get that what do you call it, that goal achieved. And they're very
Yeah, but
resilient. So when they go back,
sadly, a good number of them end up getting raped, and they
yes,
become pregnant as a result of this. So there are
yes,
times where it
yes,
just shuts the whole dream down again.
yes, and that is very true. Some of, because of the nature, if you look at the setup of Old Fadama and Abubloshi, you
Mm-hmm.
can understand why those things are really common. And also because they lack knowledge, basic knowledge about their sexual
Yeah,
reproductive health and
information.
life. Also, that makes the situation even worse.
That makes them even
Yes,
more
because we
vulnerable.
had someone on the field who was 5 months pregnant without even knowing she was pregnant. And
Oh
we
my.
were surprised. At least you should, at 5 months of, you should
Yeah,
know,
and
like,
if you know some
in your
signs
period.
and yes.
Yes, but she honestly didn't know, and that was just one case. And also the fact that they are out in the open. Like I said
Right.
earlier, I tried to work in their shoe just for a day, and
Yeah.
I could understand why it was so easy. Why some of them attempted to maybe um get maybe other and ways of making money faster,
Okay.
because it wasn't easy carrying. I wasn't even carrying on, I was
Yes,
just
as
following
well.
them. Yes,
Yeah,
and
walking through.
working with them up and down, and the sun was very high, and by 12 you could really feel yourself dehydrated,
Exhausted.
exhausted,
Okay.
and what's making it worse is that the former KIA, like
Yes.
those who are not be in school, like excuse me to say, some of them are actually SSH graduates, senior high school graduates.
Right.
And
Okay.
one thing that increasingly comes up is that those the senior high school graduates, the educated ones rather, are more susceptible to other vices than even the ones who have not been to school,
How
because
is that?
those ones, excuse me to say, they are more used to the hard life.
Okay.
Because in the north, when you wake up in the morning at dawn, you are going to the farm, and the farm is
Right.
not just away from your house. You get it.
Mm.
But those who
Yeah.
are more used to the schooling system, when they come to downstairs, they are the ones who are more vulnerable, because they
Okay.
try carry their loads for a long time, and they realize, oh, maybe there's this guy I can date, exchange sex for
Okay.
money,
I
and
see.
all that. You see, so that is also a
So
phenomenon
there is that
that
part
is,
of. Mm.
yeah, that is really becoming scary, because you would think that they should be even more
This is a very
less vulnerable.
revealing story, and it's good to be fully
Yeah.
aware of some of the details of the dangers that these young girls are going through. Now, as
Mm-hmm.
a clinical psychologist, what were some of the
Mm-hmm.
issues other than just the project? I know that as a mental health professional, when you're dealing with such young women, there are other things that you'll be looking out for. What were some of the things that you can
Yes,
talk about in terms of depression and what have you?
I think what I've observed on the field is those people who are more, though the guy who usually, some of them just accept they kind of accept this is the situation, and they have to go through
Mm,
till they get what they want, and
okay.
they go,
They are
and
just
no matter what happens, is
acceptance. Mm.
they are very resilient. So
Okay.
they know that, okay, there's, okay, in their mind there's no other way out. options. The only way I can make money to, or I can earn something to solve that problem I came here with. So, but when you look at them, you can see that their mental health and well-being is well affected. If you look at even where they sleep, and sometimes the reaction of the people around them, when you are
Exactly.
working in the markets, like the reaction of some of the market women is very, very, and even some of the clients and customers they work for, the person will carry this load to wherever, and at the end of the day, the customer will give them any amount that she or he deems fit. And
Okay.
sometimes it's not the best. So you can see that sometimes at the end of the day, you can see it in their face. Overall, the situations they are
Yeah,
exposed to is not hygienic. It's
it's not.
not exposed to the weather. They are exposed to the other elements, and also, so that actually, none of them are just trying because they don't have any option. So okay, let
Okay.
me just go through the sometimes at a very high cost, not just to their
Mm.
mental health but also to their physical health.
Okay.
They fall sick frequently, and because of the
Okay.
nature, when one person in the room, if those privileged enough to afford a room that is a
Right.
16, if one of them gets one disease, or especially cholera and the likes, then you can see how it quickly spreads.
Right.
Yes, and actually kind of plan, not easy, but you keep
Mm-hmm.
motivating them to and
Okay.
serve them, but you give them what is on the ground, what you can
Okay.
actually, how you can actually help them, instead of promising and then not delivering.
Okay. Before we sign out, let's take a quick shift to Salma's world, uh, a space where you have created to share opportunities to young people from anywhere at all once they have access to that space, where you share opportunities on scholarships, on education. Tell me a little bit about that. Where did that motivation come from?
It was part of a program I attended that was at iSpace Foundation in Laboni, and
Okay.
that was be selected for mentorship. And
All
when I
right.
when I got to pitch, and one thing I have a lot of groups, all of course fighting the championing the cause of empowering women
All right.
and the youth. So I went there and through the mentorship, and they had this program called Unlocking Women, and
Okay.
specifically for women, female entrepreneurs. So that was when that, because if I get an opportunity, I post
All
it
right.
onto my network. It's a network, so I tend to get these fully funded opportunities, especially for the youth and women, and and I'm thinking, okay, I know a lot of people on this other end that are seeking these kind of opportunities, and
Mm-hmm.
I keep seeing fully funded opportunities on the other side. So why don't I
Right.
just be that link, so that I just
Wow.
connect the fully funded opportunities to the people
To the
seeking it.
people who need those opportunities.
Yes,
That's interesting. Exactly.
so that was
So
when
where
where I attending that program actually made it official. And because you are
okay.
mentored to think entrepreneurship and also do it in a way that is sustainable. Yeah,
Right.
and so was where the, because I've already been doing this, but that
Okay,
was
but
where
now
it
you created a formal platform for it.
became formal platform for
Great,
it, and
great.
it's not been all, it's been good. It's been good, but there's
Okay.
still more work to be done, because
Of course,
the more
definitely. There's
you
still
look
more.
at the kind of people I work with and I am exposed to, most of the opportunity, the fully funded opportunities tend to also be academically inclined.
Okay.
And so you have to dig deeper to the other kind of fully funded opportunities
Of
that
course.
okay, make room for innovation, creativity, and passion, and all those kind of things, so that
Right.
I get to bring more of the people I work with on board.
Okay.
But
Okay.
so far it's been good. The challenge is there as an fellow entrepreneur,
Exactly.
and,
Exactly. It comes with challenges.
and yes, it comes with challenges, and you
Sure.
have to be
Work with
prepared,
them.
and yes, well
Exactly.
prepared for
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
At the same time,
It's
yes.
been an exciting opportunity having this discussion with you. Thank you for joining me for today. I'm sure my listeners are super excited to have a deeper insight on the challenges and the difficulties these KIAs or headquarters who have to migrate from the rural communities to the urban cities in order to seek for economic gains. And like you did say,
Mhm.
most of what these young girls need are alternative opportunities. They need to have
Mm,
opportunities that are better off than what they are exposed to. They need to have educational
yes.
opportunities, work opportunities, so they can take care of themselves and, of course, support their families. One last
Yes.
question. As you're still on the journey of supporting the growth of other young people, what is your greatest dream?
Personally, or
So personally, and then perhaps your dream to these young women that you're constantly working to support their well-being.
I think personally, I believe the world has enough to go around everybody.
Mhm.
I just, it's not like, it's not, most people think that is perhaps a fantasy, but it's a fact. If you really look at the numbers of the resources on one side, and also the people in need on the other side, I honestly believe the world have enough to go around
Okay.
everybody who in need. My greatest dream is to build that kind of connection and that kind of bridge from
Right.
the resources to that end where it is really needed. Yes, you can't you sometimes you look at resources somewhere. I know it's, yeah, and you know that if you get the right network, or the right partnership, and the right
Yeah.
people, right mandate, committed people, like you can make so
Mm,
much of a difference. Sometimes just even by
exactly.
just talking to someone, you can. I've had experiences whereby I talked to we you end up coaching or mentoring someone a few years back, and you meet them again, and they said, "Oh, it's because of this opportunity, this thing you
Yeah.
said, or this link you sent me.
And
Now I am
that gives
here."
me so much great joy,
Yes,
right? Yes.
that is so
That
fulfilling and
fulfillment.
satisfying.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
so fulfilling and satisfying. Like, okay, you are making that difference. Sometimes,
Yes. And
you go ahead and you think that, okay, it's
you
okay.
get
Am I
tired
really doing
sometimes. Am I really
it?
making an
Yeah,
impact? Yeah. So
impact.
these
But
are
one,
exactly.
yeah,
These are the opportunities
so
for you to see the impacts that you're making in the lives of these young
yes,
women.
and yes, and but
It's
that is my personal dream, to how to connect
great.
those
Great.
resources to the people who really need it,
Need
and
them.
most of
It's
the time it's women and children.
right. It's
Yes,
been great. It's been great having you on my show today. Selma Mohammed is a clinical psychologist as well as, but her most important passion is volunteering and serving the development of women and children in marginalized communities. And her dream is to be the bridge that connects people to opportunities that exist across the globe. It's every woman's dream show. Like always, I share inspiring stories that exist from across the globe. To be featured on this show, please do send us an email to info@radioworks.world. Info@radioworks.world. Join me again, same time next Monday as I explode the space with yet another inspiring woman from somewhere, anywhere across the globe. See you again next week. Bye bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.